Hello, this is Quinn here with an easy guitar arrangement of Jay Ungar's classic tune, Ashokan Farewell. I'm just going to walk you through some of the basics of playing it and hopefully give you some new music to check out. Okay, so let's just jump right in. Here's the first phrase. So I think of that as the first phrase. It's ending on a 5 chord. That's like an imperfect cadence right there. That's going to help pull us back around to the next phrase. So let me walk you through what I'm doing here. Starting off on the note A. This is the 2nd fret on the G string here. Landing on our tonic right there, the D note. Working my way down to the F sharp. Very interesting, they actually play the F sharp in the melody at the same time you go to this D chord that's got an F sharp in the bottom of it. Kind of really reinforces that note right there. As far as fingerings go, you could roll with your first finger on the first couple of notes. You might catch me doing this, where I do my first finger, 2nd finger, and 4th finger. That's just sort of like a preference for me. I like to try to keep my notes really separate when I'm playing through this. You don't necessarily have to. You can let some of these notes ring together if you want, but for me, personally, I like keeping the notes pretty separate. Reaching over there to with my 4th finger. Any note I'm holding out, I might give a little bit of classical vibrato to as well. I think that just helps with the sound of it, especially since this is originally a violin melody. This is sort of similar to how a violinist would put some vibrato on these notes. Quick word about that, there's actually a lot of string crossing right here. So even though this isn't very fast, you may want to think about how you're going to cross over the strings right there. You could either get that with like a big downstroke across the strings, or you could try alternate picking that as well. Alternate picking that would be down, up, down, up, down, up. Or you could just do a lot of downstrokes there and just do down, down, down. Normally I wouldn't play that way, but for this one, since the notes are so slow and I want to try to get them as fat sounding as possible, I might stick mostly with downstrokes there. Then we get to our top part. Okay, and then we have a repeat of the first phrase. Not exactly, but we have a pretty similar repeat of it. All of that's the same right there. We have a little bit of a different ending over the A chord here. And notice this phrase ends on a nice happy D chord here. So instead of it ending on A, creating a little bit of tension, we're actually resolving it to D, and that's going to help propel us into the next phrase right here. Nothing really that difficult in anything there. We still are occasionally reaching up to the 4th fret. There's still a lot of string crossing right there. We have a dotted half note on this open A right here, and then we'll have to string skip up to the note A. One thing to watch there is when you're holding out the note A, this open A right there, try not to let your right hand bump into it as you go across the strings to get to the octave right there. So you got open A, and then try to let that ring out for its full duration right up until you hit that 2nd fret on the G string right there. Then we have this cool D major arpeggio, and my favorite part, we get up to that C natural there at the same time as the C chord. And again, for anybody who's paying attention right there, C is not normally a chord that's in the key of D major. We have a little bit of mode mixture we're doing here. He's getting kind of like a D mixolydian sound here by throwing in the C major chord. It just sounds really great when you get to that note. Kind of back firmly into the key of D right here. That's over your G chord. And then we have another D major arpeggio going up here. Open A, open D, F sharp. There you go, and that's our ending right there. So a few general considerations for this piece. Try to let each of these notes ring out for their absolute maximum duration. So if you see something written down is like half note or a quarter note, really try to let that note ring out to it. If you play it too short, it'll end up sounding kind of choppy. So nice thing about playing violin is they can really sustain these notes out for a really long time. In guitar, we don't have quite as much sustain as what a violin can get, but we can still get a decent amount of sustain on these notes. So when you have something like, let's see, over our B minor chord right here, try to really play that as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, rather than really short like that. So just through the whole piece, try to keep everything as smooth as possible. Alright, so thank you all for watching my video on Ashokan Farewell. Let me know if you like it, and make sure you like and subscribe and share and all that cool stuff.